That might be the best introduction I think I've ever had, so I'll be coming back. Good evening. Thank you so much, and thank you to CND for always hosting this important event and your continued work when it's needed more than ever. And I know we're all grateful for the work that you continue to do. And it's a real honour to be here among such incredible comrades, especially Kyoko. I'm so moved by your contribution, and I think it's such an important testimony for us to hear, particularly in Parliament, within these halls of power, where we know so often decisions are made without those testimonies, without understanding the importance of human life, and without considering the destruction of weapons of war and nuclear weapons. And yet, despite what we know and what we've heard today, 80 years after the horrific events and unimaginable human cost, nuclear weapons still not only exist, but are dominating international policy and international relations today. With more than 12,000 warheads remaining in the world and global tensions, as we all know, are rising, the threat of nuclear destruction and suffering is not a historical one, but one that we know is a growing and present threat. And it lingers in the health of all of the survivors, in the weapons, in the stockpiles of the world's most powerful nations, but also in the policies that are being pursued now here by this government here in Britain, the Labour government. And while the Labour government is also being complicit, as we all have seen, in a genocide being committed against the Palestinian people, we have a Labour government who are prepared to back the US as it brings us to the brink of nuclear destruction. And in the past year, we've witnessed 2 instances of major nuclear powers and their allies in nuclear standoffs. And can anyone really, truly say that we feel safer as a result of that? While the UK continues to host or offer to host nuclear weapons on behalf of Trump's America here in the UK, on UK soil, surrendering UK sovereignty at Lakenheath, as we've mentioned, does that make us safer? Does that make the communities of Lakenheath safer? As a Labour member, I've been clear that I will continue to challenge the Labour Party, particularly now they're in government, as should any person who claims to support peace who stays in the Labour Party. And we know on the Treaty of Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons, which is supported by over 90 nation states, it goes without saying that we should expect a Labour government to wholeheartedly support that and take steps towards global peace. But also, we should be making sure that we stop arming countries like Israel who continue to massacre thousands of civilians. And unless we change direction, that will be the legacy of this Keir Starmer government. And I do want to pay tribute to Bell and to those within the Parliamentary Labour Party who continue to challenge the Labour government as they continue to bang the drums of war in a very hostile and growing hostile party as they attempt to silence the peace movement. But while this government claims also to be committed to peace and stability, it is actively undermining both, as we know, by increasing the number of nuclear warheads in our arsenal and investing billions into replacing Trident. It is utterly indefensible to be spending billions and billions of pounds at a time when the cost of living is impacting so many people, crumbling public services, and of course the climate crisis, among, of course, what we know, the human cost of creating these weapons. And in too many parts of the country, particularly in areas facing levels of poverty, students are being steered towards careers in the arms industries and the military. And the government isn't investing in those communities as it should be, it's militarising them, is using a lack of opportunity as a recruitment strategy for those industries. And that is not a jobs plan. That is a failure to provide for young people in this country, and it's a betrayal of young people's potential. And as the Labour Party, we are supposed to be representing working people. We have an obligation to create long-term, unionised, well-paid, sustainable jobs for the future, jobs which provide for communities and provide for genuinely greater security, not fear, not war, and certainly not a future defined by weapons of mass destruction. And I saw for myself the other day, I went to my old high school for a careers fair, and there were companies at the front and centre of that, companies like BAE Systems, Rolls-Royce, recruiting young people, promoting themselves to children as young as 12. But those young people are told about how much they're going to earn, you know, what the potential of their pay packet in those jobs will be. What they're not told about is the work of those companies in selling arms to genocidal states, or the global threat of continuing to develop nuclear weapons and the cost of continuing to grow those industries, which we all know is immeasurable. And we should be offering our young people the tools to build a better world, and we all know that. Not the means to destroy it, the means to build it better. And that means investing in green industries, in care work, in science, in technology, for the public good and not for warfare. And I really welcome the efforts of those unions who are pushing for a just transition away from industries and an economy based on war and towards truly sustainable jobs. But it seems that those efforts are being ignored by the industries who will never relinquish those profits, and a government who is sticking its head in the sand rather than confront those industries. So as a member of Labour's National Executive Committee, I believe our party must be bold in opposing this dangerous direction. Starmer, the human rights lawyer, should be showing us leadership, not just in words, but in action. And that means fighting for a foreign policy which is rooted in diplomacy, in human rights, and in disarmament. And it means putting peace at the heart of our domestic agenda too, through education, through jobs, and through justice. And now, of course, when we know the risk of nuclear war is higher than it has been in a generation, now when the world is watching for leadership, particularly in the West, when so few are providing it, we need that leadership. And we owe it to the survivors of nuclear weapons, we owe it to the next generation, and we owe it to the principles of internationalism, of anti-colonialism, of solidarity and of peace, and that should always be at the heart of the Labour movement, and I'm proud to stand with you all here today as part of that struggle. Thank you.